Welcome to the Public Speaking Podcast. My name is Lucas. I'm the CEO of Headgain, an amateur speaker. And with me, as always, I have the favorite coach I have on the planet, Mr. Alexander Grabner.
I love who our guest is like, that's me. He's talking about me. All right. Hey, fellow listeners and viewers. My name is Alexander Bradner Jarling. I am one of the head coaches here in the Speaking Blueprint, or in the, our program. All right. Head Gain, not Speaking Blueprint, Head Gain. And welcome. Hey, this is a great, we have a guest today, Lucas. That is pretty
Yes.
cool. It's lately it's been he's pointing at himself like, that's me. Yes, it is. And I'm not going to share who he is. I'm not going to even mention your name yet. We're just going to build some anticipation. But the cool thing here is that before we've had the SpeakerX editions, now we're going into the depth of listening into other professionals talking about their traits and what they do and what they have as an expertise and what they can bring to the table. In this podcast, for you as a listener, you will probably learn one or two things from this next guest. But Lucas, you know this guest like no other.
Before we jump in, I also want to say that this podcast is very special. We're launching something very unique today. So this is a very timely episode. At the end of this episode, if you're listening now, you need to stay until the end because we're going to talk about something very, very, very special that we're doing. Starting today, this is Monday, and you'll probably hear this on a Tuesday, whatever you are. Check the date because this is going to be a fun ride. So, as always, when we have a guest in the studio, we do something that we call 10 Tough Thoughts with Alex and Lucas sitting on the side. I did some singing. Here we go. We're going to talk to Mr. Ben Sherry, and Alex is going to introduce him by asking 10 questions.
Amazing. All right. Before we jump, well, welcome, Ben. Welcome to the party. How are you doing?
Thank you, guys. Yeah, I'm doing really well. Thank you. Thank you for the fun energy. I'm excited. Let's jump in.
For the listeners and for us, where are you calling in from?
I'm calling in from Taiwan. I'm based in Taiwan, originally from Australia, but I've been here for about 10 years now. So if you hear a random airplane flying over, it's because I'm staying right now. I'm actually I'm on the east coast of Taiwan in a very small city. There's a digital nomad festival here. So yeah, I'm actually speaking this week, which is very relevant to what we're doing here. So touring the world and speaking, not really, but giving a little speech. It should be fun.
We can say that. I also am a global public speaker, Ben. Even if we travel like once a year, we're still global, right? Yeah.
Yeah, me and David pretty much the same.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nice.
The three of us, we're on the elite levels of public speaking. We know exactly how things go. I am delighted to have you on this podcast, Ben. But for the listeners, we're going to go through 10 tough thoughts, and you have no idea, Ben, how many times me and Lucas have had an argument about who's doing the introduction of 10 tough thoughts. So if you're watching and listening to it, you can decide now from this episode and moving forward, either you want to listen to how he does it. How did you do it, Lucas?
No, not again. You get it once.
Okay. Or if you want to have me doing it, we are now going to go 10 tough thoughts with Alex as your host and Lucas doing nothing on the sideline, sticking around and just being, I was going to say something sad there, but I'm not going to do that. Anyway, Ben, are you ready for the 10 tough thoughts?
Ready.
All right. Drum roll. All right. Fast food or fine dining?
Fast food.
Water or wine?
Water.
Swimming or walking?
Walking.
That was hesitation on that one. Stay at home or travel?
Travel.
Car or motorcycle?
Motorcycle.
Oh, yes, you're the third guest. Finally. Oh, we need to have a longer conversation about that. Okay. Off-grid or city?
Off-grid.
Oh, like that. Red or blue?
Blue.
Online or face-to-face?
Or face-to-face.
Face-to-face. All right. Well, bed or sofa?
Bed.
Bed? Summer or winter?
Summer.
Oh, yeah. Well, kind of get it where you're living. So this has been Lucas.
10 Tough Thoughts.
With your host, Alexander, and Lucas doing nothing on the sidelines.
Lucas.
All right. Lucas is doing nothing on the sideline. That's a good one. All right. Lucas, why is Ben here?
Well, We are going into that. We are doing something together. We are starting a collaboration on this day. But before going into that, I want to know more about Ben, and I think our listeners want to learn more about Ben before we go into exactly what we're doing. Ben, you said you came from Australia. You decided to live in Taiwan, where you're currently at, and you're also speaking. Can you just take us through, like, okay, so kind of what is it that you're doing today, but also I want to hear more about the journey going into that.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. So I came to Taiwan on a mission to learn Chinese because my mom is Singaporean and I'm half ethnically Chinese. So came in to learn some Chinese. I was teaching, as many people do here, teaching English. And I did enjoy teaching, but I actually moved up into teacher training after a couple of years. And that was pretty much my main exposure into public speaking in terms of facilitating like workshops, both in person and online. And so did that for about 4 years. And after kind of like moving up in the education world for a while, kind of hit a point where I was like, I want to do something different. And so I was planning to actually leave Taiwan at a certain point, but I really like it here. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Taiwan before, but it's just, yeah, it's a beautiful place, super chill, super comfortable, very civilized, beautiful nature. So I've just found myself here. And it's been almost 10 years since I first got here. But yeah, after basically not really knowing what to do next after education, I thought, well, I have some experience in leading workshops and leading, teaching people language skills. So I started doing some coaching online, and I kind of gravitated towards speaking communication coaching with an edge in terms of public speaking. And so I've just basically followed my interests over the last few years and moved from basically a speaking coach and now transitioning more into lead generation, or I say marketing through speaking events. So I'm sort of at an interesting cross section. I've just rebranded recently, and yeah, it's fun. It's great, and I'm just continuing the journey, following my interests, and trying to present and share value where I can to be as useful as possible. That's basically sort of led me to what I'm doing today and our collaboration as a live event expert.
Mm.
I love that. So how? So you. So yes, Alex.
No, I was just more curious. Like, so where did you find the interest in? So you went through facilitating and having workshops. Where did you, in that sense of where you are today, where did you find the love for motorcycles?
Well, you see, Alex, I was a young single man when I first came to Taiwan. I was a young single man, and motorcycles are very common here. So everyone rides a scooter, but I thought I could do better, do a motorcycle. So I bought some secondhand naked motorbike, and got my black jeans and my black jacket, just cruising around, picking up chicks. And I would just, honestly, I'd just go for rides into the mountains once every couple of weeks. And it was amazing. I just got to see Taiwan the right way, get lost on random streets up in the mountainside. So yeah, I don't have a motorbike anymore, but I'm hoping to, if my wife allows me, I will get one again someday.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm keeping my fingers, I'm holding my thumbs through. I just want to thank you so much also for being able to ride around and pick up chicks, because now I've gotten my motorcycle on a later end of my adulthood, and the only ones that are looking at my bike is not women, it's middle-aged or aging men. So thank you for showing and proving that motorcycle works the way that sometimes I think someone once tried to make them work for. Anyway, so back to you, Lucas. I just needed to figure out where Ben's
So
Ben's
it is a
fascination
very
came from.
important question,
It
Alex.
is. It's one of the key components in every life. Yeah.
100%, 100%. I wish I was riding a motorcycle. I was only riding around on a moped and didn't get on to the next step. I started
Yep.
traveling instead, and the money went lost. Yeah.
Sidetracking it.
Yes. Here we go. Okay, Ben. So I was curious. You did so English training for 4 years, and then moved into speaking. Is that kind of what happened?
Teacher training. Yeah. So I was teaching kids and then I was teacher training, training teachers and doing some administrative stuff. Then worked in international school, kind of got going more hardcore into education, and then moved into speaking coaching. And throughout that whole time as a teacher, you are, leading and facilitating on a daily basis, but obviously it's a bit different. But it did give me a lot of experience and different ways to connect ultimately, the live events are very much about how you connect with people. So I think I was able to really sharpen my tools in that way. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but how was that in Taiwan then? If you went then started going into like coaching and speaking and getting those types of gigs, like how is the industry? Was it easy? It's just like you made a post on Instagram, or how did that happen?
Great question. Not easy at all. So I have been primarily based online. And something I didn't mention was that we were nomading for a couple of years as well. So I don't have any Taiwanese client at the moment, even though I'm based here. And I did work with a few, but most of my clients were in Australia, actually. They were advanced non-native English speakers who were looking for some support with things like Australian English, but also things like small talk, cultural understanding, that kind of stuff. So those are the kinds of people that I was working with at the beginning of my like entrepreneurial journey. And so they would be in Australia, Singapore, Thailand were probably like the main places where my clients were, and not actually that many in Taiwan. So most Taiwanese people don't work with these international companies. A lot of them are doing business with China or just domestically in Taiwanese companies. So the market's much smaller, which is interesting. Mm.
Mm, mm, cool. And then you landed on school and doing that sort of stuff. Like that was like natural step, finding a new community and being part of something new. Just being as you've
Mm.
been online so much, was that the next natural thing that just popped up?
Yeah, I think a community model makes a lot of sense for someone who wants to improve their speaking. So I had all these clients from all around the world, and I thought they're all really awesome. And I felt that like it would be very valuable for them to meet each other and to practice with each other and build some relationships, and it would make the whole experience much easier. So that was the main incentive. And my community was originally a paid community. So it was only for the people that I was working with one on one. And that was for almost a year. And then I only made it like more freemium later on. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if you want to become a better speaker, you got to speak to people. You know, you can do all the exercises you want all day long, but if you're not speaking to people in some sort of like real context, you're not really making progress. So yeah, that was something that was very core to my, I guess, teaching or coaching philosophy. And I'm really grateful. School's a great platform for all of that. But yeah, I've sort of moved in a slightly different direction now. I'm just building and taking one step at a time. Seems every 6 to 12 months is a different step. But really loving what I'm doing now.
Yeah. I think that's part of being online and just trying to adapt to the what's happening currently and what are people interested in and how can I fit my offer into this. So what
Mm.
is it that you're doing now? How does that look?
Yeah, maybe I'll say that I see it all on a continuum. So I still consider myself to be a speaking and communication coach. But one of the big problems that I kept encountering was that I think a lot of people's core problem is not actually the speaking. It's more about, as you mentioned before, getting the speaking opportunities. So I've leaned more into curating speaking opportunities so that people have the opportunity to not only improve their speaking skills, but also get all the things that come with that, which is typically, you know, could be like status, it could be getting new clients and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm still in the same continuum and I still coach people as a speaking coach, but bigger focus on helping. It's kind of like, yeah, why don't we just throw an event together and then you can speak at this event and it'll just be a win all around, which seems kind of crazy in a way, but I just got tired of people practicing skills and feeling like they're making some progress, but it's not real progress. I want them to see like, wow, I just picked up 5 new clients because I dared to share a personal story in front of a group of people. That's what really excites me. So that's the natural progression, but still all under the same umbrella.
Yeah. I think you're spot on something. You said in the beginning in the questions as well that you enjoy in person a bit more, and I think, like, from my perspective, and Alex, we've talked about this so much, where like human connection is the thing that's going to be the differentiator today and tomorrow. Actually, what knowing how to speak in front of other people is the thing. We've seen layoffs at Microsoft, at Meta, at whatever big tech company you want. Now you have 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people being unemployed at a developer level, for instance, just to mention one specific type of person. And the only thing that's going to differentiate them is how well that they can pronounce their value when they're coming to new interviews, when they're coming into new organizations with people having done the exact same job. The one that can have the right story, talk about how they fit and what they've done will attract more people. So yeah, it's
Yeah, 100%.
mm,
I see it as a mechanism for reducing the amount of time to build trust with somebody. Like if you go and have beers with someone that you don't know, and after you've hung out for like 3 hours, you're buddies, you have this like memory, and you're close and you're connected. If you DM someone over like a 3-year period and you're having this sort of exchange, you might feel some connection, but it's just not the same. And so
mm,
I see in person, but also we can do this online. It's not quite the same, but it still has a similar impact. If you're comparing different marketing methods, just being able to jump on a call with someone is just so powerful compared to an exchange of DMs or a comments or a post. It's just not as memorable. So I think when as like DMs, posts, comments become commoditized, AI can pretty much take care of all of this now. What's really going to make the difference is your ability to be in a space like this and talk to real people.
mm. Yeah. Yeah, we've seen in our cohorts as well, Alex, when we've done SpeakerX, where people have only met online, but they've been meeting for 6 weeks, and then suddenly they meet in person at the end,
Mm.
and it's just instant. They know each other, and then it just something happens. The emotional explosion. It's been built up. So it's like meeting, but yeah, that finale when people actually meet, you realized, oh, there's so much more.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah, it is.
So where
Okay,
is your biggest like you said that you like what is your avatar of client that you're working mostly with nowadays?
Mm. In the most operational way, it would be someone who ideally is a coach, someone who has some experience with coaching. They've been able to work with clients and they have an offer that works and makes sense, but they're basically just looking to put fuel on the fire and having a bit of trouble with marketing. And so I pretty much help them with the live event is the anchor, but
Yeah.
help them with the whole pipeline. It's the strategy, promotion, the event itself, follow up, and everything that like links in. So the idea is you can just sort of like plug it into your system, and with my help, I'll go in and do everything that needs to be done. And yeah, that's pretty much like the perfect person. So a lot of business coaches are very interested in this kind of stuff. So I think business coaches have to work very hard to break the ice, I guess, or perhaps steer in a way that's more personable. So we use these events to show their more human side and remind people that they're a human being and that they care about people, even though they are under the label of a business coach. Things like that. That's probably the main avatar that I work with at the moment.
Cool. Great. Well, thank you. Because the reason why I'm asking this is just that I believe that avatar that you have, the business person that they I think initially goes through, okay, how can I make this happen? They ask AI, and then AI spits out something, and it's not going to be as valuable as you being there and having that human connection. That's why I'm asking. It's so fun to see that this is the type of person that you're working mostly with, because they won't admit it, but they have sat there and going like, how do I create this? Ask AI. And they're going into the AI, like trying to do some prompt. They're like, oh, this sounds really good, and have no idea how to freaking put that into action. And then they go like, okay, I'm just going to search who can do this. And then all of a sudden, Ben shared like pops up, and there you are. So I was just curious about this, but it sounds as a perfect group to work with as well. Such an important group as well to help, because AI is not the salvation to everything, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's good.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe just to comment on that as well. And I want to like, I feel like webinars got a really bad reputation. Like webinars have got kind of done and they're done in a certain style and they're fine and they're cool to some degree, but I just feel like there's so much more that we could be doing. So I'm trying to draw inspiration from, like, for example, the Ironman World Championships as like a live event. It's like, how do they curate that? And what does it, because I did participate in an Ironman a couple of years ago in my fitter days. And it's just an amazing event where everyone just feels so connected. And so I'm just analyzing some of these types of live events and thinking, how can we start to do this both in person, online, other things that we're trying to achieve as coaches? So yeah, it's an interesting one. I'm just trying to pioneer that to some degree and bring in some really cool perspectives there.
Wow. Cool. Keep up the good fight, man. Ironman. We have to have a good discussion about that. I think that is a separate conversation, just an entire call of listening how Ben went through. Did you go? Is it only to show up? Do you have to practice for it? No, you don't have. You can just show up, right?
So a little insight about me, I tend to be very all or nothing. So I'm either like fully in or fully out. And as I'm training, the hardest part's actually the training, because I'm doing hours, probably about 10 to 12 hours a week of training, pretty much all on my own. And you go to some really deep, dark places. There was this one time I was doing a ride on a Saturday morning. And I was working 9 to 5 at that time. And this was like the fourth or fifth Saturday morning in a row. I get up at like 6, 7 a.m. and go for this 3-4 hour bike ride. I just didn't want to. I was sore, tired, and I get about 30 minutes in, and I just start like yelling and like crying on the bike. And I'm just like, I don't want to do this. I'm just like riding. And then after about 10, 15 minutes, you're still riding. Like you're still going. I got nowhere to go. I have to ride home if I want to ride home, and you're still going. So it really shows you how far you can push yourself and how far you can go. And yeah, it was a very interesting experience. So I think for me, like a lot of the growth came from that. And then the event itself is just, it's like, because you've trained enough, you can just enjoy the experience mostly. The end is very painful no matter what you do, but for the most part, it was quite fun. So there are some pictures of me. It's a spectrum of pleasure to pain, where I like get out of the water, I'm like smiling, like feeling fresh. And then as we progress, I'm in like death, like stomach pain. But yeah, a very cool experience.
So what you're explaining here sounds very similar to, and I don't know if you agree to this, but what you help people with, and I guess the three of us are doing, David as well, but would you see that that is kind of like an Ironman as well? That you hit the road bumps, you ride on that bicycle, and all of a sudden you get that frustration. You're yelling, you're shouting. Same thing, going up on a stage and taking the opportunity, or seeking, like you're helping them, seeking them the opportunity. You sometimes go like, there is nobody who reaches out, nobody is coming back to me, and you sit there and you're crying, but you still have to do it because you've come so far. There's no point of turning. You can't go back, but it's still you have to go that distance anyways. Would you say that there's similarities to an Ironman and being, coming to become a good public speaker?
Absolutely. And this is a nice little tie-in to, I guess, what we're scheming, which I'm sure Lucas will mention a bit more in a minute. But the idea of being able to give a speech in front of a group of people is terrifying for a lot of people. So you get to a point where I've run this a couple of times in my much smaller community, and it's a great event, which is why I reached out to Lucas and saying like, hey, maybe we could do something like this together, because it's just, I guess there's two elements. One is like being forced to do something and going further than you normally would beyond your limits. That's number one. And then number two is that you're doing it with a bunch of other people. And so everyone else is going through that experience as well. And it's just no matter what happens, you feel more bonded and connected to people, even in the online space. That's what I love most about it. And I'm going to use this example of the DMs and the comments and the posts, but it doesn't compare. Like you can't recreate that from a post. I would even argue like content creation. You can't get that same feeling and connection with people unless people are really committed and involved and go through some hard stuff and complain and cry and then come out the other side. So if it's some parallels there.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you for that. Lucas, you were having something. I interrupted you. Sorry.
No. I enjoy this. It's and I think well, as you said, Ben, we're doing something very fun together. And I think it's time to start pulling the curtain away.
It's time.
Yes,
it's time.
Okay, so Ben, as you said, you reached out to me and said, "Hey, you want to do something fun together?" And I had a look at the project. I rang Alex directly after our meeting, and I said, "I think I have the next thing that we're going to do." And he got as excited as I was, which was really nice. We're not usually aligned in everything, but this time we were.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Right. Without further ado, we are launching what we have decided to call SKOOLx, which is the biggest public speaking competition on the Skool platform. That means that we're going to bring in people, and you will design your own signature talk. You will enter that into a pool, and there will be a voting, and then we will have 8 finalists to come to a final event. And the winner of that final event will have something. Alex, we had a bit of a talk about this, but we said, okay, let's do it. Let's pull out the biggest prize that we can pull for the number 1 spot, which is a free ticket to our next SpeakerX cohort. That is usually sold for $5,000. Which means the winner of this whole competition will win a 6-week program together with me and Alex, where we coach you and help you build that idea, go from idea to finished signature talk, standing on a stage in front of live people in Sweden, and you will have a professional recording of that whole experience to take home with you afterwards. So that is it.
Yeah, it's freaking awesome.
Competition of public speaking.
Flowers are popping out of the hats. Birds are singing. Yes, music sounds better in my ear right now. It does. So Ben, what's what are you doing then?
Yeah, like I'll just mention, I think so fun, so cool. Obviously, a great fit for your community and all that. And yeah, I mean, like, you'll get the opportunity to have a really good signature talk, right? And then if you do win, and if you're a finalist, I think there's some other little gifts involved. But if you do win, then you get to have one that's like super polished, right? Like SpeakerX is incredible, and you get that TED Talk experience. So I feel like it should be a no-brainer for anyone that's really interested in developing their public speaking skills. Also mentioned there is an opportunity to have a live practice as well. So you can speak in front of a live audience, and that's separate to the final itself. So this is growth. This is the ability to get an amazing speech and walk away with something that is highly, highly valuable. Can't stress that enough.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
I'm so cool. Yeah.
It's
So what?
fun. So yeah, we're starting today, and we will announce the winner on the 29th of June. So for the next, it's almost 30 days. I think, Ben, what did we say about the final? Like, you have to upload your video latest. Was it on the 19th?
Yes, the 19th. The 19th. So you basically, you get access to the course. You watch, I believe Alex is the one that's
Yes.
You'll see Alex is going to tell you everything about putting it together. You can do a bit of practice. It doesn't take you a huge amount of time, but obviously practice record it. Using your camera at home is completely fine. And then you're going to share it with us in the public speaking community. And that's your entry ticket. And once you've done that, you can join the live practice if you want that extra exposure. And then tell all your friends, obviously, about it as well. Because if you make the top 8, you get to join the final, which is going to be huge. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. It's all going to work. And
let's go to, I love this because it's a big community project. We're going to involve a lot of people, and we're going to see a lot of discussions about this, and we're going to host various things around this. So it's going to be very fun. So if you are interested in writing out your signature talk, if you want to have a chance to be on a stage at the end and actually coming to Sweden and getting that live people exposure, check this out. Link is in the description. It's called headgain.com/SKOOLx. That's SKOOLx for all the information about the competition and how everything is going to be run. I'm not going to dive into that super deep. Click the link to find out more and just get on it.
There was one thing. There was one thing that I really I borrowed it with pride, Ben. It came out in my head. I was reading through some of the instructions, what they can expect, and one of the final points that you come across, and I truly believe, as a communicator and also being public speaker and coach, we should never cease to learn new things and ideas and thoughts. And there was one thing that really caught my attention that I want to give you some credit for, and what it says: rather to be done than perfect. That really just pushes the emphasis on procrastination is and it's always there, right? It's always like, I'm just going to do it later, and then all of a sudden date runs out, and you're saying that you just put put it out there, and then rather to find the perfectness into it. And that was something that really struck me. I'm like, oh crap. So I took a decision on that as well. I'm not going to share what it was, but I also took it, let it rather just be done than perfect. So I want to reach out and say thank you, Ben, for having that. It was just like 2 words, done, and then an error, perfect. That was excellent. So thank you for that one.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to jump and add one little thing to that as well. And this links a little bit to what I was mentioning before, which I assume you guys have definitely experienced as well, which is that when you practice speaking skills in a container that's not real, there is no end because there's no perfection to the way that you speak. And the criteria we use to judge ourselves are like, oh, I've had a little word wrong there, or I did this or that, or whatever. When we shift the criteria to being how we influence and affect people, it doesn't matter if it's perfect or not, because you're going to see that it's going to move people regardless, even if you make some mistakes. It really doesn't matter. So I find myself trying to explain a lot, being like, don't worry about that little last bit. If it's the difference between you participating and you not, it absolutely makes no difference. And then obviously as you move through in your career, you can be more particular about some of those aspects. But it's all about how much it influences it overall. So yeah, thanks for mentioning that. That's cool. I'm very aligned and a big advocate for people just having a go.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
I love. I wanted to ask you, Ben, because you did something similar before, which then sparked the idea of making it bigger. What happened in for the people that went through the journey of just writing out their talk?
Yeah, so we've run it twice. I mean, technically we've run it like 3 times, but as in a more public form, we've run it twice. And the second one being the bigger one, I think there's a few impacts. Number one, especially for the coaches and entrepreneurs, it's that clarity around talking about what they do. And that's the part that shows up in networking. It shows up in interviews like this. It shows up everywhere. And so obviously if you can't talk clearly about why you do what you do, then you have it's a marketing flaw basically. So there's that part that really resonates with a lot of people. I think the other one is really just the growth around being received. Like it's almost like a therapeutic experience for many. And what I noticed was just how beautiful it was that the community really wrapped around people. Once they heard their story, they're like, wow, it's like really resonated with me. And I think you can see that going back into the community. I was surprised at how many people were actually going through and listening to as many as they could. We had some people who were spending hours like listening to everyone's signature talks. And of course, I'm going to do that, but I didn't expect the community to do that as well. So once again, it just shows if you're willing to share a story that might scare you a little bit, or maybe it's something that you feel like, no one wants to listen to this. That's often the story that will really resonate with people. So yeah, that's probably the 2 main things that we saw from the competition. And I expect this one to be similar. I expect it to be a lot of people, hopefully, if many participants take that step and share something that's just on the edge of their vulnerability, they'll see that they will get received by the community.
I love that.
Super cool.
It's getting
Super cool.
clarity, getting exposure, and being super clear when you come out. That's it is. How many times haven't we sat at the desk with our fingertips on the keyboard and just trying to think about what should I write? How should I do this? Is this the right idea? Is it structured the right way? Well, just get clarity on it. Follow the proven path and get done. Get done. And what was the thing that you said, Alex? Done, not perfect.
Rather done than perfect.
Yes. There you go.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So that is it. Skool.com. No. Yes. Well, Skool.com/speak.
Whoopsie.
Go there. Headgain.com/SKOOLx. Link is in the description. I want to ask you, Ben, before we start wrapping up, you've done this, you've been through it, you're out, you're speaking, you're seeing people online, face to face, all of that stuff. We usually ask our guests, like, what is a top tip that you would love to give to people? Like, if you just stopped doing this and did this instead, everything would be way better. Do you have something like that you want to share with our audience?
Yeah, sure. Sorry, excuse me. And this is top of mind, maybe a little bit biased, but I think that AI is pretty scary, with the advances, especially for all of us entrepreneurs. And depending on your views on AI, regardless, we're seeing a lot of like jobs and other tasks being commoditized and just becoming a click of a button. So I purposely chosen this route because I'm very passionate about wanting to maintain human connection if I can just be part of that movement. And so I guess maybe the tip is to not be afraid, but also just be aware of the opportunity presented if you are comfortable enough to connect with people in more human ways, such as like on calls like this and even in person. I think that it's becoming more potent than it was before as a marketing strategy. There's a little tip there for anyone that's ideally in like the coaching or entrepreneurship space. Really pay attention to this one. Because it's a way that you can still have an edge and to not feel overwhelmed by all the movements in AI.
Yes.
Yep.
That's great. Cool. Thank you. All right. Dun, 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 dun. I have one more question, Ben.
We have one more question. We always have one more question, Lucas.
There's always one
Focus.
more.
Let's go.
As we're moving in now into more interviews in this podcast, speaking to people who are in the speaking business, is there a specific person or a specific topic that you would like to hear in our next episode?
Yes. So on the theme of live event, something just funny just popped into my mind, which I'll explain in a second. But yeah, in the theme of live events, the number one that's like very high on my list to experience is Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins live event. He's like the guru of transformational live events. So it would be amazing if you guys could interview him. And then that made me think about how when Hormozy interviewed him, I don't know if you guys saw that interview. It was very interesting. And I've never seen Hormozy been out-alphaed before. Yeah, Hormozy's very alpha, but around Tony Robbins is like the ultimate alpha. So it was a really interesting interview and very insightful, and they both got vulnerable. Yeah, he's the man. So can you interview Tony Robbins next? Then I'll be very excited.
No problem.
Yeah, that's gonna happen. I'm looking
Number
into
one
this.
on my speed dial.
Yep. Yes, exactly. Yeah, we'll make it happen soon. Don't worry.
We aim high,
I think we have
guys.
to finish it. Well, thank you so much for that. That we're looking forward to reaching. Lucas, you will write the email, or you had him speed dial. That's good. All right, Ben. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, excellent. Looking forward to work with you on this beautiful opportunity that we're giving people. Senior to Talk. That is the pathway to your first step into becoming a real professional public speaker, which is, and I know you and I are being biased saying this, probably the best job there is in the world. Right. Yeah, the thumbs up came there. It's excellent. All right, Lucas, any final remarks before we let Ben go?
Yeah, well, Ben, if people are interested, want to find more about you, where do they find you? What is the best way to connect with Ben Sherry?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you are a coach or consultant or someone who's interested in running live events for pretty broad-ranging purposes, but mostly for the purpose of gaining new clients, building your brand, those types of aspects, come join SKOOL.com/studio. I run a community called the Live Event Studio. And yeah, I've got some resources in there to help you get going and using live events as a core marketing strategy if that's something you want to do. And even if it's just on the peripherals, that's fine too. Yeah. So come hang out with us. We're a friendly bunch and we're always running events and co-hosting stuff in there as well. So yeah, the live SKOOL.com/studio.
There we go.
Right.
That's super simple, easy, click, go.
This has been another episode of the
Public speaking podcast.
Public speaking. This has been another episode of the Public Speaking Channel podcast, or Public Speaking Podcast. There, Dear Child has many names. That's why we have so many. Ben, you can not imagine how many public speaking is podcast channels. Yeah, I can be ranting on for hours and hours and hours. Thank you so much for being our guest, guys. You need to go into headgain.com/SKOOLx with 2 O's, and we'll catch you on the next episode of this speaking podcast publicly. Ciao.